One of the things I've been thinking about lately is if you live a life you want to live, if you live the life you want to live according to your terms, you can't feel lonely ever again. That's my assumption. See, here's what I mean by that. And please feel free to rebuke and or you know refute what I have to say. I don't really care because, or I mean, I do care, but as far um, as far as I'm concerned, I haven't heard any valued counter arguments to this sort of view. And here's what I mean: if I live a life according to my terms that I want to live, then I have avoided the number one deathbed regret in the world. Because if you do a quick Google search and you look up the number one deathbed regret, I believe, in the world. I mean, it depends on what sort of site you're using, and it depends on the source you're using and all that. That's fine. But at the very least, the last time that I checked and I Googled, the number one deathbed regret was living the life I wanted to live, or not living the life I wanted to live. Living the life that others wanted me to live and not myself. Right? Now, how does that look like in your world? Well, it could be lots of different things. Have kids, not have kids, get married, stay single, become a vegan, I don't know, become a digital nomad, chop off your arm, transitioning. Hopefully nobody does that. Or, it could be lots of different stuff. Now, hopefully, once again, nobody watches this video and does gender retransitioning or detransitioning, whatever term you want to use. Anyway, point is, if you're living life according to your terms, the way that you want to live, then who in the world can, or how in the world can you feel lonely if you're living life according to your terms? Because here's what I'm arguing. If you feel lonely, you feel lonely because there is a need for something in your life. Let's say you want a spouse. Let's say you're a dude and you can't get laid and you want a girlfriend. Well, do you want that girlfriend just so you can brag to your buddies about you getting laid? Or do you want that girlfriend because you have sexual needs and you need a release? Or do you want that girlfriend because you truly miss having a potential spouse in your life and you want to build a family? Be honest to yourself, because I mean, who in the world can judge you if you live life according to your desires? If your ultimate desire is to become a garbage man, to drive a garbage truck around with empty garbage cans, and you have fun doing that, it gives you meaning, and you want to do it, then by all means do it. Who in the world can criticize you for doing that? Right? I mean, this is where I actually want to quote a fictional character in a TV show. If anybody watched The West Wing, it's a show about the US president. I think it aired during the late 90s and early 2000s. The president's, I guess, secretary. I don't know if that's not the chief of staff, but I guess the president's secretary, Mrs. Lanningham. I believe that was her name. Like this old woman named Mrs. Lanningham, who had a quote saying something like this: if you do it because if you don't want to do something because you don't desire to do it, then that's fine. But if you don't do something because you're afraid of doing it, then I don't want to know you, right? And as much as you can laugh and ridicule me quoting a line from a fictional TV, character in a TV show, it still proves a point. Because I mean, who in the world are you if you don't want to do something? If you're doing something, if you're not doing something because you don't feel like doing it. Now, most of the time, in fact, all of the time, I wake up and and I don't feel like training or working out. I don't want to do it. I want to lay on the couch instead. But I know that training and working out is good for me. That's not what I'm talking about. Or if I'm being very disciplined with my diet, I know that diet, or that those particular sorts of food that I'm stuffing into my body, I know that those foods are healthy for my body, so I eat them. Now these are foods that I actually like and that I can consume on a daily basis. I don't force myself to eat foods that I don't like, because for most people, there are healthy foods which they actually can enjoy. Now, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about doing stuff that you have to do, but that you don't feel like doing in the moment. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about living up to the ideals and standards of other people. If my collection of friends, if my group of friends or peers or whatever you want to call them, if their idea of living the happy life is driving around in cars and displaying their car driving abilities and go for drifting and whatever and do some drag racing or whatever, street race, whatever you want to call it, then good on them. I'm not going to participate because I don't find it particularly interesting or exciting. I really don't. I don't have an affinity for cars. I'm not particularly interested in cars. I don't care jack shit about cars at all. I just want to get from A to B. If I need to go somewhere and I have my car will get me will get me there. That's one thing. But that doesn't mean I'm going to waste my time, because to me this is a waste. That's what I mean. And that's going to make me feel lonely. That's going to make me feel lonely if I have to conform to my friends, to my group of friends' idea of having a good time, because I don't consider it to be a good time. I consider it to be boring. And I can't wait to go home and do something else. But if I, who like interior design, let's say I like interior design and cooking, and I take great joy in doing that, then I will argue the notion that that I'm going to feel less lonely when I'm doing that, because I'm living life according to my terms. And who knows, maybe I'll find a spouse. Or maybe I'll find a group of friends who are also into the same things. Right? Because you can do that. And you should do that. And that's you living life according to your terms. In other words, you are avoiding the number one deathbed regret. Because imagine how lousy of a life it must have been. Living the life according to someone else's standards. Living the life that you think that living the life that other people appreciate and look up to. But you don't like it. You feel bored. Once again, your friends like to go race their cars and you like to cook. Well, then go cook. Don't race. It's as simple as that. Now, once again, don't conform what you find interesting with what you should be doing regardless. You should be eating healthy and training and working hard regardless. In order to make it in this world, you need money. So you need to make money one way or the other. I mean, that's just the nature of the beast. So don't conflate what I'm saying with doing the things that require some discipline from you, some effort from you. I mean, personally, I, for the most part, eat eggs, meat of some sort, ground beef, steak, chicken, whatever. And, some vegetables, onion, red peppers, beans, whatever, right? Some sort of fiber, what's the word I'm looking for? Some sort of source for fiber and carbohydrates and all of that stuff. Now, does that mean that those are the only foods that I'm consuming every single day? No, it doesn't. Because I like pizza and burgers and fries and a little chocolate sometimes. Those are my vices. That's what I'm indulging in. And nobody can take that away from me. But if I would have had that every single day, it would have been detrimental to my health. Same thing goes for training. I don't like particularly getting ready for training and, lifting or swinging kettlebells or doing some boxing on the heavy bag. I don't really enjoy doing that as much as I enjoy knowing that it's gonna make me stronger. But I do it because it's a net positive for my life. So that's what I'm talking about here. Don't conflate what I'm saying with with removing the things that are a net positive for your life. Training and eating healthy is a net positive for your life, but you don't have to overdo it. My life doesn't revolve around training and eating healthy. My life revolves around doing the things that I want to do and doing the things that I believe are net positive for me. And that down the line, well, maybe I can stop doing them because now I have what I need in order to live my life according to my standards. Anyway, back to the point here. If I live my life according to my standards and my sort of like scale of happiness or whatever you want to call it, and I attract the same sort of people who are into the same things that I am, then how in the world am I going to feel lonely again? I'm not. I'm really not. Think about it. But if I conform to the standards of other people, then it's a one-way ticket to misery and loneliness and low energy. And that will be it for today. Think about what I just said. Play this video several times if you didn't make sense of it, and really think what that means for you in your life. If you want to learn more about how to defeat your loneliness and how to increase your energy, go subscribe to my email list. The link to do so is below this video in the episode description. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.